I need to tell you something before this reading starts. A few days ago, I got a message that genuinely stopped me. She has been part of this community for a while now, watches the readings, comments sometimes, and somewhere along the way, she stopped being just a viewer and became someone I genuinely care about. She told me about her mother. Her mother had been sick for months. Not the quick kind of sick, the slow, draining kind that changes everything around it. And during those months, while this woman was sitting in hospital waiting rooms, managing medications, trying to hold her family together with whatever she had left, she was also dealing with people around her who were making everything worse. Not helping, not showing up, just taking, talking behind her back, adding weight to a season that was already breaking her. She found my readings during one of those late nights, phone in her lap, completely exhausted, heart barely holding on. And she told me something that I keep thinking about. She said, "Your readings made me feel like someone actually saw what I was going through, not the surface version, the real one underneath." Her mother is home now, recovered, and this woman, who held everything together through something most people would have completely collapsed under, messaged me to say she is finally okay, that the people who are draining her are gone from her life now, that she stopped explaining herself to them, stopped trying to make them understand, stopped giving access to people who only ever used that access to hurt her. And then she said something I cannot stop thinking about. She said, showing them was so much more powerful than anything I could have ever said to them. Let me just say it straight, because today, Spirit is not letting me ease into this slowly. The birds in your life right now are tired. Not the obvious, dramatic kind of tired that announces itself, the quiet kind. The kind that creeps in when you have been putting massive amounts of energy into something and getting absolutely nothing back for it. The kind that settles into a person when they have been watching someone they tried so hard to affect keep moving forward like nothing touched them. That is what is happening on their end right now. And it is making them furious because they cannot figure out what went wrong. They had a whole strategy. They knew your patterns. They knew the buttons to push. They had people involved. They had moves lined up. And they executed all of it. And you just kept going, kept building, kept showing up, kept being exactly who you are without missing a beat. And a person who keeps getting ignored by the situation they are trying to control eventually runs out of energy. These birds are running out of energy. And what you are watching from your end, whether it looks like them getting louder or getting quieter, or getting more desperate or pulling back suddenly, all of it is the same thing underneath. Exhaustion wearing different outfits. And real quick, before we lost deep into this reading, if you are new here, welcome. You did not find this channel by accident. Hit subscribe right now because every single week, Spirit shows up here with exactly what the right person needs to hear. And if you have something personal going on, something specific to your situation that you want to ask me, drop it in the comments below. I do personal readings and I do not charge for them here. People pay hundreds of dollars for what you are getting for free. So ask your question. I read every single comment and I will get back to you. Okay, so let me ask you something, because Spirit told me to find you before we go any further. Have you stopped explaining yourself recently? Not dramatically, not with a big announcement. Just quietly, internally, stopped. Stopped trying to make certain people understand your choices. Stopped justifying where you are going or what you are building, or why you are moving the way you are moving. Just decided that the energy it was taking to explain yourself to people who were never genuinely trying to understand was energy you simply could not afford anymore. And did that decision make certain people angrier than anything you had ever actually done to them? Like the less you said, the more furious they became. Like your silence was somehow more threatening than anything you could have shown up and argued back with. Like you withdrawing your energy and your explanations was the most disruptive thing you could have possibly done to their whole plan. If that is you right now, this reading found the right person today. Because what Spirit is about to show you is going to explain exactly why that silence was not giving up. It was the most powerful move you ever made in this situation. Let me get into what the cards actually showed me, because this is specific and I want to give you all of it. These birds have been working hard, behind the scenes, in ways you are not always fully aware of. They have been watching you more than you know, more than would make sense given how unbothered they pretend to be, monitoring your moves, your progress, your peace, waiting for the crack, for the moment something finally slips and they get what they need to confirm the story they have been telling about you. They have been talking, in rooms you were not in, building a version of you that requires constant maintenance because the real you keeps showing up and contradicting it. And the more the real you contradicts it, the more exhausting it becomes to keep the narrative going. They have been trying to reach you indirectly, through people, through situations, through little moves designed to get a reaction without requiring them to come to you directly and honestly. The kind of moves that are specifically designed to plant doubt in your mind about yourself without ever leaving a clean fingerprint on the damage. And not one single piece of all that effort has produced what they were working toward. You are still here, still moving, still building, still the same undeniable version of yourself that contradicts their story every single day just by existing. And that is why they are exhausted. And that is why they are pissed. Because they are running out of moves, and they can feel it. Now, here's the part I really need you to hear, because Spirit kept bringing me back to this, and I am not rushing past it. What you have been doing, this quiet, consistent showing up without explaining yourself, is not just surviving their interference, it is actively dismantling it. Every time you showed up for something that mattered, instead of wasting your energy on their drama, you added to the case. Every time you kept building, instead of stopping to argue with people who were never arguing in good faith, you made the case stronger. Every time you chose your peace over their noise, you chose to let your actual life speak, instead of letting their narrative speak for you. And here is what a life speaking for itself does over time. It makes every story being told about you sound thin, sound like it is missing something, sound like it was built around a version of you that the people listening to it cannot quite reconcile with the version they actually encounter when they meet you in real life. Your character has been running its own defense this whole time, without your permission, without your involvement, without you having to manage it or maintain it or protect it from every angle. That is real protection, the kind that does not need to announce itself. Let me talk about something that is coming up very clearly in the energy right now, because I think this is going to land for a lot of you. These birds are pissed specifically because they can feel something coming for you that they cannot stop. Something building in your direction that their interference has not been able to slow down. They do not know the full shape of it, cannot see it clearly from where they are standing. But they feel the pull of it, the momentum of it, the way things around you have been quietly reorganizing towards something that is bigger than where you currently are. And they have been throwing everything they have at it. Still, even now, when they are running on empty, still trying, still making moves, still sending things in your direction, hoping something will finally land. And Spirit is showing me that it is not landing, not on what actually matters. The noise is circling around the outside of what you are building, making sound, but not touching the substance of it, not reaching the real thing. You are more covered in this season than you are aware of, and the covering is not random. It is connected directly to the choice you made to stop explaining yourself and start showing up. That choice shifted something in the energy around you, and what it shifted is working on your behalf, whether you are consciously paying attention to it or not. Okay, I need to say this part because it is the heart of everything, and I want to make sure it actually lands. The showing that the title is talking about. It is not a performance. It is not something you planned. It is not something you are doing strategically to prove a point to the people who have been coming against you. It is just you, living your actual life, building your actual things, being your actual self in the spaces that deserve your presence. And that naturalness, that completely unperformed quality of someone who is just genuinely focused on their own life instead of on the people trying to disrupt it, is the most disarming thing you could ever show someone whose whole strategy depends on you being distracted. They needed you reactive, needed you defensive, needed you spending your energy on them instead of on yourself. Needed the version of you that could be pulled off course by enough noise and enough pressure. And instead they got this version, the focused one, the unbothered one, the one who just keeps going. And that is specifically and precisely why game over. Let me say one last thing before the close, and I mean this completely. Remember the woman I told you about at the beginning, the one who held everything together through her mother's illness, while people around her tried to make it harder than it already was. The one who found her way through by stopping the explaining and starting the showing. She told me something else in that message that I did not share yet. She said, I used to think that the people who were coming against me had power over my situation, like their opposition was an actual obstacle, like I needed them to stop before I could really move. And then one day she just moved anyway. Without their permission, without their support, without waiting for them to stop opposing her. And she said, the moment I stopped needing them to stop, they became irrelevant. Not immediately, but gradually. Their noise just started mattering less and less as my actual life started taking up more and more of my attention. That is the thing Spirit wants you to walk away with today. The birds being exhausted and pissed is not something you caused. It is something that happened as a natural consequence of you simply being too focused on your own life to give their interference the attention it needed to survive. You did not beat them. You outgrew them, and there is no comeback from being outgrown. Game over. And it has been over for longer than you realize. Before I go, I want to hear from you in the comments today. Tell me this. What is the one thing you kept building, kept working on, kept showing up for, while people around you were convinced you were going to fail at it? Drop it below. One sentence is enough, because this comment section today is about to be full of the most focused, most quietly powerful, most completely unbothered people you have ever come across in one place. And if you have something personal going on that you want me to look at specifically, drop your question below. I do not charge for this. I read everything, and I will get back to you personally. Share this with somebody who has been showing up quietly while people talked loudly, because they need to hear today that the quiet showing always wins. Subscribe because every week, Spirit shows up here for exactly the right person at exactly the right time. I will see you in the next one. Keep showing, keep building, keep being exactly who you are. The birds are exhausted. Game over. See you in next reading. Take care.